Welcome back to another episode of Boys Gone Wild. I'm joined by my beautiful assistant Andrew Cohen.
Hello, nice to be here.
First shorts episode for you of the year.
I just waxed my thighs, so I thought it was appropriate to get them out.
It is, yes, very suggestive. Very much
good.
a come hither look. The thigh is the gateway to the cock.
That's what I was thinking.
Exactly.
And I've also waxed this part of my leg.
Yes, just between those two. Yeah, it's very trendy. It's a very people
Very
look
hip.
back at that and say, "God, that was a real trend."
Yes, this was what all the Shoreditch men are doing nowadays. Very hip and cool.
How are you, Andrew? How have you been? I haven't seen.
Do you know who
all
I've
week.
spoken to the most in the last 4 days?
Who?
Steve and Tony.
Really?
Put that into. I realised that this morning. The person or the people I've spoken to the most in the last 4 days.
Yeah.
Have been our morbidly obese handyman and his assistant.
Okay. He's not more.
He is.
Yeah.
He is. He's not fit for the job.
No. Yeah, that's true.
For the last 4 days, because what I've been doing is trying to be healthy and trying to be good.
So that means you can't trust yourself by seeing anyone.
Well yeah. Well, obviously, like, where do you see people? The pub.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do at the pub other than
So
fucking
as a
drink?
way of trying to live
I've played so
clean...
much sport. Look at the blisters on my hands. I've played so much sport.
You're swimming.
I've
playing
swam
golf.
4 times this week. My left ear. I'm deaf in my left ear. Can't hear
Because of the swimming.
because I've got so much water in my ear. I already had loads of what do you call it? Mucus, earwax in my ear, because that's what happens. Well, physical health.
Pant.
Yeah, I've got so much pants in my ear, I just can't get all the pants out. No, when you turn 25, no, not 20, I think it's like 22, men start to build up loads of earwax. So if you're going deaf,
I'm going deaf.
yeah, then you should go and, I haven't done it yet, but
I haven't done it either.
our friend Paul said that he did it, and it was,
He said that to me as well.
yeah, it was revelatory. Because
I
we
know.
complain that we're deaf, but I'm even more deaf than
Yeah.
when I was. People have been complaining about me being deaf.
For longer than they've been
For
carrying
longer.
on at me.
Well, that's irrelevant.
That's a big part of the story.
You never
That's
came
the-
into
that's
it
the
once. You
emotional-
were not
that's
once.
the emotional core
not
of the narrative.
Once were you included in it. No one mentions you ever, in fact. But so they've been like, Andrew, can you do something about this? Because you're starting to, some of my more aggressive friends are like, can you sort your fucking ears out?
What, your biker friends?
My
Your
Hell's
heavy-
Angels. Hell's Angels.
Your heavy metal biker friends.
Exactly, yeah. They tend to be more curt with me than my Mile End Leisure Centre swimming friends. Who are building. I'm getting some. I'm having some like moments with people.
Really?
Yeah, I've swam with a guy.
You're always solo.
Yeah, swimmers tend to do it at the same time because we're creatures of habit. Well, because you can only book it at a certain time. You've got an hour. I'm a midday swimmer as well, so a midday swimmer is not a post-work swimmer. They've clearly got their shit together. Whereas I just live 5 minutes from the leisure centre.
What age are these new swim friends?
My new friend, he had a tattoo, and we were both in the fast lane together.
Oh wow! Look at that. Double whammy bad boys.
Correct, yeah. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
We'll get to the.
Do you think there's a link between how fast you swim and having tats? Do you think you're more likely to be able to swim quickly?
You're more streamlined because there's a dent in your arm that just allows you, for breaststroke. And look, I've also thought I've got a fucking manta ray on me.
So if you're slowing down, you can then look.
Yeah, it's
in a
like it
moment of
charges up and
clarity.
it lights up and it's like a boost.
That's nice.
It's because so I'm deaf in my left ear.
Yes,
I'm
deaf in. Yeah, I'm deaf in my left ear.
Yeah.
Yeah, left my bad
Well,
ear.
it's a combination of one. I've been using the lack of nicotine as an excuse to just get drunk for the last month. So they're significant. I'm still fatigued.
Yes.
I feel fucking nuts every morning still.
Well, you
It's
seem
like
unhinged.
confused.
Yeah,
Well, I only seem unhinged because I've just been doing nothing.
but you seem
and,
like I guess it's a good unhinged, but you're like an active unhinged.
Well,
You're
that's
like
just because I've only spoken to Steve and Tony, so this
Yeah.
is the first people I've spoken to in the last 4 weeks. Not 4 weeks, 4 days. But yes, so I can't hear in my left ear,
Yeah.
which has been an interesting development.
But so it's just been made
people-
worse with the.
Yeah, because
Sorry.
water goes
Yeah.
in your ear, doesn't it? So, but yes, so I've been using alcohol to kind of get through nicotine because it makes you. I've been so fucking tired, and also, I don't know, just really out of it. So then it's like alcohol kind of gets you back to where you usually are. So I've just been caning it for the last 4 weeks. So then I thought, okay, now's the time to, because the withdrawals are meant to stop after 4 weeks.
Have you felt that?
Not yet.
No.
They're still fucking there.
Yeah.
So now I'm just kind of still sitting in them. And then it just being, now I'm just like having to do loads of sport to try and not kill myself. Yeah. Which is basically what's happening. I hope they fucking go soon.
Do you think the sports are going to have to get nicher and nicher the more and more?
No, I've
the
got
longer
enough.
and longer that you have nicotine withdrawals.
I know. I think I've got enough of this. Well, it's always because it's like an addiction. You replace an addiction with an addiction.
When you're playing paddleboard, that's when...
Oh, I'd love to play paddleball.
That's when I think you've hit... Well, I think bowls would be rock bottom for your nicotine.
For what?
For your nicotine withdrawal.
Well, if you're just looking for
well,
kind
if you're
of a
still,
hit in
you're
anything.
just you need, because it's like swimming, golf, badminton. This isn't enough. You just keep needing more and more. Keep chasing it.
Yeah, I think you chase it more by the frequency of the sport rather than the nicheness of the sport.
Okay, so you wouldn't keep adding the diversity of different...
No, it's not like it's not like, oh, I'm swimming every day, but I'm no longer getting the buzz. I better go play laser tag. But I'm open to all suggestions. Well, no, it's just that it's been 4 weeks, so it's now time to start living. You have 4 weeks basically to quit. Is what it feels like, and then on the 5th you should start to kind of come to your new life, realize your new life, and then kind of you should get a pass for the 4 weeks if you've quit a habit that you've been doing for 8 years every day. You should get a pass for those 4 weeks, and now it's time to reformulate your life. So now, but then the reformulation of the life has just coincided with nothing's gone on. Elle's on tour. You've been away for 3 days. I've just been by myself in the house talking to our handymen, who now call me, they've shortened my name so much that they now just call me And. A-N-D, like I'm a conjunction between sentences. I'm not sure they mean it that, because maybe they're saying that I'm a bridge between the two of them.
Yeah, maybe. They've turned you to
They
conjunction.
love it, though. They love it. We've been having chats out the front.
How long are these chats going on for? Max?
Too long.
So
Too
you
long, but
haven't
it's
been
my
loving
only
it?
social contact. I crave the
So
knocks on the door when they need to take the ladder through my garden. No, of course I don't. I haven't lost my mind, Horatio.
It's only been 3
I
days.
don't crave. It's been 3 days. 4. I'm including today.
Okay, yeah.
They're not actually here today, so it's been particularly lonely.
Yeah. Have they finished on the front of the house?
I don't fucking know.
Are you scared about them finishing?
No, because you've just been talking about the weather, and I don't mind it, and it's not awful.
Have you learned anything more about Steve and Tony?
Steve is not a good man.
Is he immoral?
He's very immoral.
There's an unethicalness to him.
I overheard him having a conversation with our neighbour, and he was, I don't know, I kind of walked through it, so I didn't hear a lot of it. But at the end, he was like, yeah, he dresses and walks around like he's some sort of fucking prancer.
Yeah.
As in, like he looks gay, and that's a bad thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and so there's moments. It's language, and you might subscribe that to him being an elder gentleman.
Sure.
But the language is used maliciously.
Yeah.
I don't think he thinks gay people are a good thing.
No, definitely not.
That's what I'm
He's not a
getting
fan.
from
I don't think he's an ally of the LGBT community.
He's not. He's not like a trans spokesperson.
I would love that. That would be a great twist if Steve was like
Came out as trans.
Well, yeah, if he came out, or that he's just like on
woman.
Twitter constantly sharing like pastel coloured infographics about Black Lives Matter, furious at everything.
I'd hate it, because you've got to know what you get with someone.
Yeah, because then it would change everything.
Then I'd be like, I don't know anyone anymore. What's the point in even trying
These
to
are my
understand?
only 2 friends in the world.
Steve and Tony.
These are the only 2 people I know.
Fat Steve and Toothless Tony. That's sorry, that's who they are, and they're great. I love Tony. I think.
What's Tony bringing to the table?
Joy and kind of.
I don't think his name's Tony.
Well, then he hasn't corrected me.
Have you been calling him Tony?
Yeah.
Because there was another.
Do you think he's calling me And to kind of piss me off and be like, because who's called And?
So the reason why I don't think he's Tony is because there was another short bald guy who Steve got.
Steve.
Yeah, and
Steve's apprentice.
he had teeth.
Did he? Well,
And he looked young.
Tone could have lost his teeth.
Tony could have lost his teeth, but it was a year, and I'm pretty sure he looked a bit younger and he didn't have glasses. So unless he's lost his vision and his teeth in a year.
Oh my God, I think I've instantly remembered who you're talking about.
You know, that's Tony.
Yeah, that's probably Tony.
So who's that guy then?
Don't know.
Have you been calling him Tony?
Yeah.
Have you been using his name?
Tony and Tone.
You're right, Tone.
Tone.
You say that?
Tone. You're right, Tone.
Nice. You're right, and?
Well, do you know all of my dad's friends, musical theatre friends, call me Tone.
Because you have such a nice tone to your
A
voice.
good tone to my voice. And they knew that early on. No, it's like one of my dad's wasteman friends sent a letter to my mum after she'd just given birth to me in the hospital.
Letter, nice.
Well, a card saying a handwritten
The
letter.
letter's a
or
bit
whatever.
intense.
Yeah, letter is weird. It was just like, are you guys having an affair? No. A card just saying hi Sally, to Sally and Bill. Congratulations on the birth of your new baby boy, Anthony.
Okay.
So they all call me Tone,
That's
which
nice.
I think is pretty funny.
That's a sweet one.
I think it's funny, and I didn't really realise why they called me Tone until I remember not bothering to ask until I was like 14.
Yeah.
It was very late on where I was just like, why do they call me Tone? And that's when it was explained. So that might be Tony, it might not be Tony. I don't know. He hasn't corrected me.
Yeah.
I think he's too sweet to correct me.
Yeah.
There was one moment where I was watching Community
Okay.
with the door.
Just trying to recreate a vibe of friendship and
Yes,
togetherness.
Community. Friendship, togetherness.
You're just on Google search images. Friends, community, just scroll.
It suggested a TV program for me. It came up on my
You're looking at stock
selected
image
ads.
of people smiling and laughing.
Yeah, it came up on the algorithm because all I typed in was friendship, togetherness, closeness, not being alone. So I was watching Community, and have you seen Community?
I've seen bits and bobs,
Yeah,
and
you haven't
people
really seen
like
any.
it. I don't really like it.
It's
but,
so up his own arse.
yeah, but people with good taste like it, so I'm ready to be proved wrong. But I'm yet to
They need to give
come
it-
around to it.
It's good for the first 2 seasons, and then it gets so up its own arse that it disappears into itself.
I think I've only seen the first two.
You've hardly seen any comedy though, so it doesn't.
Yeah, I
really
haven't
matter.
watched anything.
It's really strange. But so in it, there's the gay flamboyant dean, right?
I'm sold.
You're in. The dean of the university. And he comes in and he makes, flamboyant gestures.
He's
whatever.
bald.
He's bald.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
something. And he comes in and often makes a flamboyant gesture or says something.
Because he's gay.
Because he's gay. Okay?
Nice,
Did I stutter at any point?
No,
He's
you
gay and bald! So I'm listening to it, and the scene is on, and the dean goes like, "What?" Like, just like that. I can't remember the exact noise.
Yeah.
Tony, or whatever his name is, okay, is walking past the door at the same time, and I think he thought I said that. Tony, being the stand-up guy that he is, responds to it, imitating, going, "Wow!" And I'm there in the middle between the dean,
The gay dean on the telly,
dean that's on the telly,
who's also bald,
and Tony,
who's bald,
or whatever his name is, on the other side of the door, who thinks he's talking. I think he thinks he's talking to me. I think what Tony thinks is I can hear him walking past, and I go, "What?" And he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll respond." And he goes, "What?" And then does a little after and walks off. That's what's been fucking happening to me in the last 4 days. What do you mean I shouldn't lose my fucking mind? How fucking weird is that?
two bald guys having a
Can't
conversation
hear
between
anything. I can't fucking hear. I've got so much water in my ears. I heard people having sex in the swimming room changing room.
But you can't hear, do you?
Swimming
No.
pool changing room.
So it must be really loud because
Must be really loud, yeah.
Yeah.
And I investigated it. I was
you got to.
Yeah, I was getting
What a
changed.
rare thrill to hear. I'm dreaming of being able to hear people have sex. I've never really caught.
Yeah.
Maybe in a hotel room opposite, I heard people having sex, but I barely ever get to.
You've
I
heard
think
me
I've
have
heard
sex,
these
haven't you?
guys. Yeah, but that doesn't really
It
count.
doesn't really count. A strangers in a public
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, I think I heard Mark shagging
Oh. When?
2 years ago.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck, no, you can't do that. Stop. So I was in the change room post swim, feeling the buzz, endorphins running around my system, got out of the house for an hour.
Yeah.
Then I was in there and I heard because there's hair dryers and the hair dryers are key in this. So there was I heard a bit of a and I was like, that's a suspicious noise, but I could be hearing things.
Or it could be Tony trying to.
I could be hallucinating at this point. Tony could have followed me here going,
Tony thinks it's like an ongoing bit.
Tony, no.
Tony, I didn't even say it.
Tony, please.
He loves it.
Please. Tony, stop, man. You gotta stop. Please don't follow me to Mile End Leisure Centre. I mean, a leisure centre. I don't care. Come and swim with me. It'll be nice to see some people.
Yeah, it would be.
Not Tony. So I'm there in the change room. I hear Tony, Steve. I'm there in the change room. I'm actually naked at this point, just to add to the atmosphere. And then I hear, and then boom, hairdryer. Separate hairdryer. It just adds to the thing. So I'm like, that sounded like a sex noise, but I think I've misheard. Because also, if you get, as us community of swimmers know, you're going to build up a bit of a buzz when you're swimming. So when you get out, you're panting a lot. So panting
could be
panting post swim. Could be you've had a good workout versus I'm having sex.
So far, nothing too suspicious.
Yeah, but noteworthy.
Did you immediately make a note of it?
Yes,
in an LA noir style outfit.
Yes.
You got a notepad and you made
it was
small
weird, but I had a suit hung up in the change room for that eventuality.
Great.
Put the suit on. I was like, it's time to something's afoot. Could be at the moment more likely to be innocent than not innocent.
Sure.
Hairdryer goes on, and during, can you make the zun now? And then I hear a Okay, that was definitely another noise. There was a and then what I noticed is that so I could hear the and then when the hairdryer stopped for a period of time, so did the noises. Now I'm thinking the guy who's pounding on...
You got the corkboard out with all
the...
There's one hairdryer, two different sex noises.
For me, that's also a quick side note. When I see chalkboards with pieces of string, does that help? When I look at it, will that ever help you solve a case?
Would you do a Google Doc?
I just...
On your phone?
Do a Venn diagram.
A Venn diagram of a case? So you're trying to catch a killer?
Or a pie chart?
Would you say, like, people who have killed the person?
Yeah, but okay, fine.
Well, the middle one would be people who have killed the person.
I would do a whiteboard. And
people who were there. No, because what you could do with the Venn diagram, people who are at the crime scene.
People who weren't.
People who weren't at the crime
How quickly would crimes be solved if all of the police used a Venn diagram?
So people who are at the crime scene,
people that could have done it, people that couldn't have done it.
And the people who are at the crime scene who did it, and that's the middle one.
And then they did it.
Yeah.
We wouldn't need... crimes would be solved in a matter of minutes.
I'd do a pie chart. No, yeah, that's how I'd solve.
Yeah. I'd do a histogram. Never understood histograms.
I'll do a big pie, say people who didn't do it, and then a slither for people who did do it. That's how I find it.
Another fun fact about me is that I never understood histograms in maths. I was quite good at maths, and I was very fortunate that histograms never came up. Just never understood them.
I don't know what they are.
Yeah.
Do you know what they are?
Did you listen to what I just said? What the fuck is wrong with you? Am I speaking to a wall?
No, but I wonder if you
God, I might go back into my solitude if this is what's outside of it. Do you know what they are? What did I just say? No, but when you see them like connecting it with bits of string, do you think that helps? It wouldn't help me.
So what's the? But
you're
not a visual learner, though, are you?
Would it help you going?
I like seeing things spread out.
The string,
for sure.
The string. Well, there's loads of string.
String.
That's for me. The string. Fine. We can agree on the string.
Yeah. But anyway.
So, the hairdryer stops and as do the noises.
Yeah.
The hairdryer comes on again.
Is your cock and balls out right at the minute?
Cock and ball, because of what I've done, genuinely, hand on heart, is I've stopped getting changed, so I'm not making, because it's quite loud.
So you got 2 socks on, and the rest, that's it?
No socks on.
Fedora and a sock, that's it.
Yeah, a tie, obviously, because I'm a gentleman. And then cock and balls out. But no, so I'm there, and I didn't want to make too much rustling, because that was greatly affecting my ability to hear it. Okay. So hairdryer goes off, they stop. Hairdryer goes back on. I hear a and then I hear a second voice.
You're now sure it's shagging.
All but conclusive. And then the pattern of the was mostly the guy. So I found the source and started beatboxing to them because I thought they just wanted to jam. Apparently they didn't want to jam.
As you come out, start bollock naked apart from fedora. Oh, sorry. I thought you guys...
So now I'm not allowed back at my...
I thought this was a flash mob. I didn't think that you guys...
I think you guys are banging in there. So then, yeah, second voice, she was much less frequent than the first voice, the guy's voice. But it was confirmed enough for me to be happy to put on my shorts, not my swimming shorts. They've been taken off because they were wet.
Yeah.
Actually, it was these shorts. It was these very shorts.
Yeah.
Haven't taken them off since the pool. There you go. That's something to...
You're gone.
So
Shoot.
It made me think one thing, not many things. There's not many things to think about. But I have been one for public sex in the past.
You've done it. How many times have you done public sex?
I don't know who counts that shit. Fucking losers count that shit, like you.
I'd count it. How many times
Exactly. Yeah. How many times have you had public sex?
I've had it once, I think.
Loser. Put a case in fucking point. I don't know. Like, if I had to guess, 15?
Wow, that's a lot of public sex. Do you like public sex?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't mind it, but it's public sex is more of a necessity rather than a. I'm not an exhibitionist.
Yeah.
The worst one I've done, it was in the Vietnam War Museum.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
That's a necessity. You weren't getting the hots.
That's not a like. That was. It wasn't about the. It wasn't about the American Vietnam War. It was about like Vietnamese historical wars.
All right, that's fine.
It's better.
Yeah, much better.
Well, it is because the further away.
What year did you decide that you were too horny to carry on?
1650.
So pre-colonial still.
Pre-colonial. Yeah, I think as particularly, I know it's as an Englishman, I know it's the French who were colonised in Vietnam, but for me, it's still inappropriate if I'm having sex during a colonial period. So it was that point, pot to the disabled toilets. They're not. It's not like because it's not fun. It's not like, and I don't want to be that guy
who has sex in the Vietnam War Museum.
No, to be fair, the other ones weren't all in the Vietnam War Museum. It hasn't always been. It's always a disabled toilet.
It's a classic guy as well.
And the park, in the middle of a park, was
that's the classic.
One. That was the big one.
No, that was
really. I've stopped caring. That was the end.
I remember that.
It was.
I didn't see it, but I remember you telling me about it. It was when you were in the path.
It was on the way. We were on the way back home. We were 5 minutes walk from home. Just started having sex about 20 meters away from the path. In the middle of a park. It was night. It was after it was like 4 a.m. we come back for a club. But it was the boldest thing I've ever done.
And people walking right past.
Yeah, well, they're walking past on the path.
Spot you?
A few. A few.
Did you give them any of the
Well,
occupied?
What? In hindsight, I wish I did. But I was with an insane lady who was almost annoyed that they were noticing us.
Yeah.
And I was, in my head, I'm going, it's completely fair enough that they're noticing us.
Don't look
like,
at me!
She's getting a bit pissed off and I'm a bit like trying to...
Don't look at me!
I'm almost being a middleman whilst humping. And it's like, I was like, I get why you're looking, that's fair. Can you not get so angry? It's fair why they're doing that.
Because you're a great diplomat. You're a great, go-between. I feel it takes away a bit of your status.
And so, peacekeeping whilst just fucking... No, I understand we shouldn't be. Can you not get so angry? Because I think they're fair to... I know, I realise that. But so, that was the worst. But like, it's only in the...
you in Ukraine.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. Fuck yeah. Well, that would be the most audacious place to have public sex.
Well, it'd be you'd be fucking Ukrainians as the Russians are coming over, and then you'd have to be empathising with why the Russians are upset.
Yeah.
You know, NATO did say, and you are sort of infringing on the agreed territory.
You're kind of doing that. Yeah. But as I say, public sex is for me is only. I'm not an exhibitionist. I don't get pleasure on the thrill of nearly being caught. For me, that's annoying.
Well, your first hand job was with someone.
That's funny though.
It is funny, but I'm saying that maybe shaped. You know,
no, I did that
as a young man. Maybe that molded.
What was that? A necessity.
Yeah,
but
do you not think it molded you the way that maybe as a young boy you saw sex?
No.
Maybe you thought maybe this is the only way I can have sex is if someone else who doesn't know that I'm having sex is nearby. Maybe that's how you thought sex was growing up as a young boy. That would easily molded.
Sure. I hear those points. That would make sense if I said I love having sex outdoors.
Yeah.
I've said it's a necessity. That night was a necessity.
Yeah.
We were in a tent and there was nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
And there was only one pod, and one of our best friends was in there.
Didn't know you were just talking away.
Yeah, I made sure. No, the thing that I did,
Explain to the folks at home if you wouldn't mind.
Andrew's first hand job.
My first hand job
was in a tent with my friend. One of our old school friends had a thing at his house and he invited a couple of ladies and we were like, what, 15?
Yeah.
14? Whatever. Maybe must be 14 actually.
Yeah.
And push came to shove. And then there was there was a few rooms inside the house where people could stay, but me and Matt ended up staying in the tent that was outside in the garden, pitching the garden, because there wasn't room for everyone inside, with the two ladies.
Yeah.
And I'd been turning the charm on one of the ladies for the evening.
Was Cowley trying his luck with the other lady?
Matt is Cowley, by the way. I don't know. It's a hard question.
I don't know how his mind works.
How do you know? How do you know with that boy? But so then, things got a bit hot and steamy under the sleeping bags.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, right.
You're both in the same sleeping bag or like a shared one?
Different sleeping bags.
So it was just you were tossing yourself off?
Yeah, she wasn't involved.
Because hot and steamy under the sleeping bag, it's a single sleeping bag.
Yeah, no. I don't know. No, I think she reached in.
Okay, fine. Sorry, that makes
obviously. Just use your imagination, you cuck.
Bow.
What was it? Shared sleeping bags? How does this happen? Yeah, I think she put her hand in. I think then maybe there was like a duvet created out of it.
Yeah,
and then that starts happening. I remember thinking, this is my first hand job. Is it great that Matt Cowley's here, or is it bad? And immediately I thought it's fantastic.
It is fantastic.
So that was going on.
You didn't think it's like
going fine.
My first hand job was a really special moment.
No, it's not, is it?
It's like a bar mitzvah. It's like
it's really not,
it's like graduation. You know?
No, it's just nothing really, is it? It's not like you mark it. Hilariously, I probably would have forgotten mine if it wasn't for this story. So it was going on, and I thought the conversation had died down because I was kind of the main person engaging in conversation. Then I suddenly stopped. Because I started getting a hand job.
Yeah.
But then I thought, I want to at least have a bit of a conversation with Matt so I can say I've spoken to him whilst I was getting a hand job. I can't remember what I said.
No, you didn't get the small talk.
Matt should remember.
Yeah.
But then that was that.
Yeah. Yeah, fair enough.
Fucking hear.
Yeah, with the hearing thing, I mean, my hearing started to go as well. Do you get those TikToks about people clearing the ears out? The satisfying ones, the wax clear outs?
No.
A friend of mine's dad, and this I always think of this story whenever I think of bad ears. When he got out the shower, he's like, I don't know, like a 60-year-old man, maybe 70.
60. Sorry.
Yeah. He would use his underwear to clean.
Oh God,
his,
yeah.
Who's his? This is Adam Flood's dad.
Yeah, you have told me this, or he told me this actually. I think you told him to tell me
it
this
was in this room actually. He told
I
us.
think he did. Yeah, because you were telling that story.
His dad uses his underwear to clean
his
ear. Yeah, and because it would often have skid marks in it, he gave himself an ear infection because he was basically rubbing shit into his ear.
It's not acceptable. Really, is it? That's the kind of thing I do. I'm not far off that.
What, rubbing shit into your own ears?
Just like using
whatever's lying around.
Just like using a cum rag as a napkin.
Yeah.
That could happen. It hasn't, but it's not out the realms of possibility. If I'm being honest with myself.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I've done for the last 4 days. Be playing golf as well by myself, which has actually been really nice. Everything objectively.
Oh, by yourself?
Yeah, hit the range by myself.
I've done everything by myself. Oh, I thought. Oh,
well, I love it.
Yeah.
Annoyingly, objectively, I love it, but I still feel a bit mental. I think life is about balance, and it's about hitting those balance.
Yeah. You can't hitting those balls.
Yeah, in more than one way.
I was going to think of another golf term, but as far as hitting the balls, okay, yeah.
Yeah. So it's like, yeah, I don't know, because you've got to have everything. You can't just have. It's good to be healthy and do the right things.
Yeah.
But you've got to, also talk to different people as well.
So it's about.
You got to have a social life. You got to do other things. You can't just work and then play golf by yourself. Even though that sounds nice. But you want that on like a couple of days a week, not for 4 days in a row. I've swam in my lunch break and I played golf in the evening. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Other than today, but I swam in my lunch break. This is now breaking the duct, as you can see.
It's sort of like a divorced man getting his life back together. Schedule.
Yeah, it is really, isn't it? And I've just divorced from nicotine. How pathetic is that? I stand by this being fucked, mate.
What?
Genuinely.
What, nicotine withdrawal?
Every morning I've woken up and I felt like I'm half in a dream and half awake. It's always the mornings.
It might take you a year.
I really hope that feeling out of it isn't a year.
Otherwise, not out of it, but I think it'd take you a year to be kind of...
Well, I think... No, because this is significant. as in every morning I wake up, I look at my laptop and I'm like, this feels like VR.
Oh yeah.
For every single morning. It's only when I go swimming and then come back and have a shower that I then feel a bit awake. It's almost like every morning I want to go back to sleep 20 minutes after waking up. It's a mix between fatigue.
So it's the tiredness.
It's fatigue, but it's like the only other time I felt out of it like this is when I had glandular fever. It's like it's medically called confusion. If you look at my internet searches in the last 3 days, I look like a paranoid hypochondriac. I look insane. I've been trying to get to the bottom of it because it is a bit worrying because I'm like, I don't want to... It's been 4 weeks of me waking up going like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So I don't really want that to continue. So we'll see.
Yeah, no, I feel for you, man. That sounds
and
rough.
I'm deaf.
Yeah. How is it your...
This is actually worse. Honestly, since I've spoken to someone, I've realised how bad it is.
You can't hear through your left ear.
Yeah, if you do, it feels like talk. Do that and talk. It's mostly with
yeah. Oh, I see what you mean.
It's like, it's not really you're speaking. It's I sound double loud. Am I speaking really loudly?
You speak like a deaf person speaks.
I was going to do it before. I nearly did an impression.
You got it ready cocked and ready to go.
I know, because I was a bit like my stepdad is from a deaf family. Does that mean I've got the right? It definitely doesn't. Definitely
it's
doesn't.
It's not blood relative, is it? So.
Well, that's a fun story. My stepdad is a very put together man. A silver fox.
Yeah.
Everything completely normal in every way. You'd think.
20/20 hearing.
20/20 hearing couldn't be better. His ears couldn't be blessed more. Both his parents are completely deaf and have been...
Blew my mind when I found that out.
Since, like, either since birth or since, 40, 50 years. They met each other through, I'm not going to say deaf camp, because I'm sure it's not a camp.
Death camp.
Or a class, is it either?
A death camp,
something.
I think, carries a lot of unwanted history.
Oh, God, yeah.
Round up and sent to the death camps.
I was wondering where that was. I was like, that's something. Weirdly, I thought, is that a Tyler the Creator song?
No, it's
deaf.
It's only used in genocides.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was brought up in a. So they had him, and he was brought up in a household where both his parents couldn't speak.
It's crazy.
And he's completely well adjusted.
Yeah, it's because I don't know what I expected from someone who raised by completely deaf parents, but I just expect them at least to be odd.
A bit nuts.
Just something.
I'm waiting.
At least quirky.
I've known him
at
for
least
what,
have
15?
Some quirks.
That's probably a bit too much, but maybe 13, 12 years.
Crazy.
Not once has he dropped a...
Yeah. Dropped a doozy.
Yeah, or a deuce.
Yeah.
Not once has he pooped on the floor.
No.
Well, to my knowledge.
Yeah. My the hay fever's just kicked in.
Yeah.
I mean, you've been a big hay fever guy, and I don't know if I feel hay fever. You can't spread it to someone else, but I never had hay fever, and you've always had hay fever as long as I've known you.
Right? Are you
and
thinking? I'm
thinking. Well, you just complain about hay fever for so many years.
So it's the complaining rather than the.
I don't know if you somehow gave me hay fever.
You think you're getting sympathy? What do you call them? Sympathy symptoms?
Yeah, maybe I'm feeling it so I can empathise with you better.
You need sympathy for that first.
Yeah, I know it's because I'm such an empath that I feel what you feel greater, so I can understand what you're going through.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, hay fever is coming. I've blown my nose 400 times today.
You don't have to brag.
That's just too many times.
Yeah.
That's when it's just like life is silly.
You sound a bit bunged up.
Yeah, I'm completely. It's fucked. I'm corked up.
Are you a nose or eyes boy?
I think especially when you have especially with like a posh voice, to also have a blocked nose, it's like you can't help but sound like
Stuffy Henry.
A snooty little prince.
Yeah, stuffy
it implies that you feel you're better than everyone else if you have a blocked nose, because it's sort of...
Actually, Mother, I think that pudding's a bit late, isn't it? I didn't ask for sticky toffee, I asked for spotted dick, actually.
It does,
exactly. Yeah. It's very snooty having a blocked nose. I hate it.
It sounds like you should be a bit fat as well.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Too many sugar plums.
Yeah. Too much rhubarb and custard. Freshly picked rhubarb from the orchard in the garden. What season is it, hay fever wise? Do you know?
I don't know anything about the hay fever.
Weirdly, I'm interested in it. Well, not weirdly,
because there's grass and hay.
Hay fever.
But yeah, I was on a shoot this week and was meant to be in a position of authority, and having it, you really, it's hard to have authority when it looks like you've been crying the whole time. You've got a blocked nose and you're sniffing the whole time, and you just look really unwell.
It's true.
And no one else had hay fever. I think if there was loads of hay fever going round, So
well, that's why I'm interested as to what you are, because you're a little bit early. I've definitely had a whiff of the stuff.
Yeah.
Hold on. Okay, yeah, I've got it. I've had a whiff of the stuff, but I'm your classic grass hay fever baby.
Yeah.
So tree pollen comes first, typically from late March to mid-May.
Yeah.
Grass, which actually has 2 peaks, lasts from mid-May until July, and weed pollen covers from June to September. Well, that suggests I'm weed, but that's not what I've been told.
The plot thickens.
The plot does thicken, and quite frankly, who cares, because it doesn't matter. But usually mine hits at start of July and stops. Fortunately, it always stops like a week before my birthday, so it allows me to enjoy my birthday.
To carry on with our continuing following of the Philip Schofields.
I wasn't sure I was done with the hay fever.
Oh, sorry, apologies. I forgot. I thought you'd wrap that up.
Not at all. Is it not the worst thing in the world to have?
It's awful.
Yeah. I was talking to someone the other day who recently got it, and the best thing about being a long-time sufferer is I used to have to go to the matron's office when I was in year 6 and go and ask for some nasal spray and some tablets because my face had exploded over when we were meant to be playing football or something. Yeah. And everyone would go, "Oh, look, who's that weird kid who needs to go to matron's office every lunchtime?" And I go, "My nose hurts! My eyes itch and my nose hurts, so leave me alone." And then the same people are now developing adult onset hay fever.
That's what I got.
And they're going, "Oh, this is fucking shit, man."
Oh yeah, this is fucking you did shit. It before it was cool.
I know it's shit.
Yeah.
And I was talking to someone who had also had a bit of acid reflux recently, and they were complaining about acid reflux, and I was like, "Are they not the two most annoying things you can have?"
Yeah.
And they said yes.
Because they're not bad enough where you get a blue badge.
I was about to say some of us just get on with it without complaining. Everyone knows.
Every week.
Every week.
Because it's more like there's not huge amounts you can do about it, and it's like you can't get a blue badge, you can't get a parking spot, you can't get on TV with it.
Yeah,
it's not like
no,
you can't.
It's not like having a micro penis. Well, that's what.
But it's more like it's not like we need more people with hay fever representation. No. It's not like one of those.
There's not much research to be done. Although there's steroid injections that you can get nowadays, which I'm thinking about.
It still doesn't quite make sense to me. It's the massness. Like, I feel if there was a few people who had it, then maybe you could have like a documentary about hay fever sufferers,
right?
Allergic to grass, and then it could be like an appeal, But the fact that like I feel like maybe 30% of people have hay fever,
that sounds right to me,
means that people don't care about it. It
because
weirdly makes
it
just makes it feel like it's not a big deal.
But people research into it because, as I say, there's this steroid shot which I think my mum keeps telling me about. But the thing about it is, it's actually the most, obviously it's not the worst thing you can have, I'm not saying that. It's the most annoying thing you can have. Yeah. That fucking tickly thing.
More annoying
annoying than any other disease I know. More annoying and frustrating. It's the lamest one you can have because of how you look as you touched on.
Allergic to grass. It's not cool.
And the final bit is like it ruins the nicest part of the year.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, the sun's out. Why don't you go and sit by the grass? How about have a disease that makes your face explode when you sit near it? It's fucking wank.
Yeah.
Same with fucking acid reflux. Do you want to have a drink or a cigarette? How about my throat's going to explode?
Yeah, you're allergic to fun.
Allergic to fun, even though that's my favourite thing.
Yeah, but it's brutal in this country as well. I've got a cold for about 5 months of the year.
Yeah.
And the cold subsides in maybe May, maybe April.
Yeah.
And then hay fever hits in almost immediately.
It's the size of your nostrils, man.
It's true.
You've just got so much going up that there's going to be a lot coming out.
I told you I'm an empath. I'm taking it. I need big nostrils for a big heart.
The way to truly understand humanity is through the nostrils.
Breathe it in. When someone's opening up, you'll just see me. My nostrils.
Hoovering up the emotions.
I'm like a mole. I'm like an emotional mole. I can't see emotions. I'm smelling. Further on in the... I mean, it's been nice because we haven't had a story, like a juicy story. Yeah. We've been asking for it all year. And I guess Schofield, we'll take Schofield. It's not the best one.
I don't. It's shit.
But it does keep having new layers,
Well, it kind of does. I think the story is itself the story.
Yeah.
If you would allow me to be profound for a moment.
Yeah. It's definitely not a Baldwin level story.
No, exactly. That's a fucking story. Alec Baldwin, the famous comedian, just shot and killed someone.
That's what we're after.
Yeah, like Schofield's "The Story Is the Story."
Yeah, you bummed a team.
Do you get what I mean?
Right.
Is that cocoa butter?
Yeah.
That was my hype of the week.
It's great, isn't it?
Yeah, smells like
it's the nicest smell in the world.
The nicest smell in the world.
Nothing's ever smelled nicer.
Why do women not slather their bodies in it?
They do.
No, but
not enough.
I smelt that because they recommended it for the tattoos. I put it on and I went, "What the fuck is this? That's the nicest thing I've ever smelled." What?
It feels like they've combined. It's like a yin and yang. It's like cocoa and butter are the two. It's kind of dark and light of the universe has come together to create perfect harmony. There's a harmony going on with cocoa butter.
There is a harmony going on.
It's the brown and the yellow, the kind of the mix.
Well, it kind of smells like natural chocolate.
Yes, but also butter.
No.
But butter as well.
No, because there's a dairy concept to chocolate, but it doesn't smell like if you melted Galaxy.
No.
That's got a nice smell. Obviously, melted chocolate smells great. That has a purer
But this is something different.
It is, but I think it's, purer.
But then I guess it being mass-produced and there's a feeling there's something nefarious that may be at play. Because I just
don't say cocoa.
No, I'm just saying nothing could smell that nice without...
Without what?
Without Bezos making a buck. He's up to his old trick.
Bezos involved.
Yeah.
With cocoa butter.
Philip Schofield.
Yeah.
What? So the story so far.
The story is the story.
Bummed a teen.
Not teen. Not necessarily. Or did you say ting or teen?
Teen.
Well, he was 20, I think, when it happened.
Okay. So you're going to stand by that?
Well, I apparently. What are you going to stand by? This is the thing that annoys me.
Yeah.
I'm getting pretty hecked off.
Yeah.
If you're pardon the French, about this story. No one knows anything, and people that come on with the strongest opinions about stuff makes me kind of furious.
Yeah.
The people that are like, how fucking dare he? This is disgraceful. And then people vehemently defending him. It's like, well, we don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. You don't know. People go, of course Holly knew. It's fucking bullshit that Holly knew. How do you know? How do you know? How can you be so fucking sure of yourself?
Yeah.
It's so fucking pathetic how people operate. And then what happens is there's people that are so sure of themselves that other people, the normal people, the nice people go, oh shit, I better pick a side here. Yeah. And then suddenly everyone's on two sides. Yeah. And that's how every fucking news story goes.
Do you think it's two sides?
Someone needs to stand up and go, we don't know what happened. And that's going to be me.
I don't know if there's even two sides. I haven't seen, it's not like there's much discourse happening.
There is. There's people going, it's not that big a deal.
Oh,
everyone
really?
chill the fuck out. Yeah. Okay. Or like, there's people going in on Holly. There's people saying, isn't she brave? There's people. That's true.
People saying she's brave.
Yeah, got me out with that statement. And like, obviously, because it's like, it's either you believe what she's saying and she's had her career's been derailed and she had no idea about it, which would be shit. So there's the Holly truthers, and then there's people going, what a lying bitch. Yeah. Of course she knew every moment. They're like, they were best friends.
But as you said a couple of episodes ago, it's insane the stranglehold daytime TV has on this country.
It is.
But it's almost like a sort of hypnosis because how personally people are getting angry. Just even having a strong opinion about Holly Willoughby in itself is a ridiculous statement.
My dad used to call her Holly Willabooby. I want to get back to those times. I really do.
Simpler times. They were definitely.
Dad used to do a specialty which was jelly and custard, and he'd make it look like a tit, and he'd call it booby pudding.
Was that linked to the Holly Willoughby thing, or was that just one of?
Sometimes he'd say Holly Willoughby in the same night. And
so that's just in his box of tricks.
In his box of perverted party tricks. That's where I want to be. Back to Holly Willoughby, not all of this fucking stuff. Because I don't think I've ever heard him say Holly Willoughby. He'd always say Holly Willoughby.
So you don't think you've even heard the word?
I've never heard the words Willoughby come out of that man's mouth.
Because he has integrity.
And he's a better man for it. I reckon, because I haven't spoken to him since this crisis has happened. So I can firmly imagine him down the golf club being like, look, I have obviously Holly Willoughby knew exactly what was going on. She's been co-hosting with him for 20 years? And you're telling me that Holly Willoughby doesn't know that he's been noncing?
Willoughby has put her career on the line.
Willoughby's as guilty as Schofield. Willoughby,
and this is his friends. They're in the golf club. Willoughby knew nothing. It's like
How can you say that? How can you say, without a smirk on your face, that Willoughby knew nothing? Willoughby knew everything.
Why would Philip tell Willoughby this?
Because they're best friends. Philip and Willoughby go together like jam and bread.
Willoughby wouldn't do this.
Willoughby would do it. But no, it's the fucking... I don't get me wrong. I love the drama. That's why I say the story is the story, not the actual story. Yeah. Again, if you will allow me to be profound for 1 minute. Yeah. It's Philip's I have been looking up every interview. I'm fully involved in the drama. I love having what's also really nice, if I'm honest, is having the veneer of a morning TV presenter and the, what are we going to do next? Let's go over here. Oh, let's do that. To, I didn't rape that child.
That is the unique appeal about this.
So hard on event. Going from, who's next on the phone?
I tell you what, it's true. I've loved the highlights of Philip that keep coming up of him. Like him with Jamie Oliver having a pasty. You can't put a salad in a pasty.
You filthy pervert.
I did not rape that
child.
boy.
I did not groom that boy. And he's just the dancing and because what's that competition? Just like you got to use this phrase if you answer the phone. What have we got coming up next? Josie's in Bristol. I have followed 14,000 people on Twitter. It is completely normal. Do you want me to die? I firmly enjoy that contrast.
Yeah,
but.
Thank you, Gina from Lewisham, for sending in that lovely picture of your garden. I did not bum the boy.
I think we got Gino D'Acampo coming in next. He was going to teach us how to make an authentic Italian lasagna. Oh, shut up, Gino. What's he like? There were many kids in that choir, and I spoke to a few. It was career advice. I didn't rape him. I didn't groom. What even is grooming? I mean, fair play to the guy.
So thoughts on the interview. That's what we wanted to talk about, really.
Yeah. One, I just want to make my opinion on this clear. Is that I don't know what happened. I don't know if he groomed him. I don't think anyone knows if he groomed him. So people that are saying that
does Philip know?
Philip knows.
Okay, just when you say
that's just when my take's gone out the window. My kind of like calm, cool for
only God knows.
Only Jesus Christ, our Lord and Savior. Come on, let's be fucking honest, guys. No, Philip and the boy know, and Twitter would know.
The boy. Philip and the boy.
Philip and the boy.
I think he's like 25 now, isn't he?
Yeah. No, he's older than that. He's like 30.
The boy. He'll always be the boy.
Philip and the boy.
Yeah.
Don't know if he groomed him. Why would I ever? How could I possibly know if he groomed him? People that say they know, don't know if Holly knew. How the fuck would I know if Holly Willoughby? Apologies.
Yeah.
How the fuck would I know? Definitely inappropriate. He should definitely not have his job. 100%. Completely agree with that.
Well, it's time to turn over anyway. It's 20 years.
Exactly. Sounds like it was legal. If the grooming thing is gross if it happens, but we can't prove it. But it's gross that it happened. Don't think he should be given as much stick as he's been given when you don't know. That's my opinion.
Here's a question for you. So, I don't know if this is unfortunate or I don't know what this means, but the boy is a very young-looking lad. So even when he was 22, he just had a boyish face. All right. So even pictures of him when he was 22, he looked like a 16-year-old.
Yeah.
All right. And so even when he was legal, just the image makes you feel really uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Remember how I looked when I was 21 or even 18? I looked 45 when I was 18 years old.
Yeah. So you think it's more acceptable to have sexual relations
I'm just saying if I'd been groomed by Philip Schofield, I don't think there'd be this mass sympathy for me. I don't think there'd be as much. They'd look at me like, oh, this guy's clearly a divorced 45-year-old man.
Well, I think there'd be confusion. It'd be like, well, what's the problem?
It's like, you know, when those African footballers come over and they lie about their age, and it's like he's 18, it's clearly a 40-year-old man. It's me trying to get a job at ITV.
Well, interesting enough, one of our friends was staying over here on the weekend, and I came out topless and with my morning hair. We'll put it up here. Actually, it's funny.
We've been bad with photos.
I've sent you every one.
Okay, fine.
So you've been bad with photos. And Paul came out. When I came out, he started laughing immediately and said, "You look like the kid Philip Schofield raped." So
let's take a look. All right, well, we'll definitely get.
Apparently, I look a bit like him when I've got my morning hair. So
what do you think about that? My thing is how young looking he is. Do you think if he didn't look as young, because it's unfortunate that he has such a boyish look?
Yeah. Well, I think the problem...
Basically, if it had been me with the way I look, would it be as controversial?
Yes, because there's the problem why it's as controversial, there's pictures of him and Philip and the boy. Philip and the boy.
The boy. The boy who lived.
Also, I thought about, in these 4 days, I thought about writing an autobiography called Steve, Tony and I. But Tony's not even his name. And then it'll be followed by the biography of Philip and the boy.
Philip and the boy.
Philip and the boy.
The boy who lived.
So the main problem is that there's photos of Philip and the boy when the boy is like 12. So that's instantly they met when he was 12. So then that's obviously an issue, and it's obviously gross. But the problem is the grooming thing. If there was a grooming thing, then it's a matter for the police, I think. If there isn't a grooming thing, then fucking, disgusting. You shouldn't have his job. The problem is, but he doesn't deserve all this fucking shit.
It's the culture of deceit.
That's the worst thing. And who gives a fuck about the toxic culture of this morning? Is it toxic? Is it not? Who gives a fuck?
Yeah.
I don't care if Holly Willoughby and Josie and Dermot O'Leary feel that they're comfortable with
had a very
sound people.
I love seeing Dermot's serious face.
Dermot O'Dreary.
Have you used that before? Have you been using that recently?
First time.
Does that straight off the
dome?
Sharpest gun in the West, this boy.
Back in the holster. Dermot O'Dreary. Who cares about him?
He's got such a good...
the interview.
He's got such a good, he really...
Caring face.
Because that's his whole... If you're a presenter, more so than pretty much anyone in the media, you have to...
Pretend that
you have to do the line perfectly.
Yeah.
So
how long were they doing this morning?
For being jovial and happy, but someone gets cancelled that
switching in. Right, yeah. The seriousness. He can go from talking about... It's a bit like Frank Lampard, that thing.
Yeah, it is.
But doing it not sincerely. Because Frank Lampard clearly does it because he's a bit nuts. But whereas Dermot does it, all of them is false. Imagine doing that for 20 years as well. That fucking job.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then, That's all they do. They go, Well, I didn't rape that boy. Fucking nonsense. But the interview, I haven't gasped like that in a while.
It's wild.
The BBC interview, genuine gasp. The how are you and the yeah. I think I know how Caroline Flack felt. Oh! I was like, that's too much. Don't do that, Phil. Because Flack did nothing wrong.
Yes.
That's where it's like, one, don't compare anyway.
Well, I think certainly the things I've been saying on this podcast about the whole Philip situation is...
You hate him.
No, I don't.
I want to see him burn.
I'm joking.
I'm joking.
I was a bit of a Philip truther when I was trying to work out the legality of it first before we completely burned to the ground. But seeing that interview was like, oh, you're such a manipulative, emotionally...
The thing is, but
all of the things that have been true.
Could be genuine.
No, I didn't buy it for a second.
Did you not?
Well, it was more... It's like he spent 20 years lying.
He looked genuinely terrified.
Yes, but he spent 20 years lying just by the nature of being a morning show host.
True. No one has much interest in Wellington boots and summer stuff.
So he's all he knows is how to lie. Really, he's had to lie about.
He knows some geography.
He's lied to Holly, which really upset me.
We'll call her by her name.
Holly. He lied to Willabooby. And so I think what everyone's saying about this kind of culture of lying this morning and the fact that he's such a fake person, now called upon to be as authentic as possible. I thought that was really interesting. It was like, he probably hasn't had to be really real for years because he's been...
So you think he's
monetized his fakeness.
Yeah.
So it was interesting seeing him, this is a no holds bar interview. He's gone and planned it in the way that he'd plan a segment about the cuckoos in spring.
Would you not plan it?
You'd have to, obviously, but it's the way that he's had to plan it and the way that his mind works and the way he's going to approach it, which is like he's doing a bid for his life. I get it. It's a tough situation.
Yeah. I don't think, but
I wouldn't freeball that interview. I wouldn't be like, I'm not sure you're using. Let's cross that bridge where we come to it.
I'm not sure you're using your empath nostrils as much as possible. I'm not sure you're whiffing up all those feelings.
I believe there's only one empath here, so
right. So I suppose I do need to defer to you, given the size of them. Because
it's the Caroline Flack, incredibly emotionally
manipulative. Way too bold. Way too
straight
bold.
out the bat, and it's just like basically doing the thing. I'm going to kill myself. I'm only haven't killed myself because of my kids. That's just classic emotional manipulative behavior. That's literally all the classic toxic things people do if they're being broken up with, and all the textbook.
Yeah.
He just did that with that, and obviously
with the nation,
and obviously
fair play.
Fair play, the boy. I just feel I have a lot of sympathy for people who've been cancelled and like trying to get the punishment to fit the crime, because I feel when you get publicly
his punishment
cancelled,
hasn't fit the crime.
Do you not think?
Of course it bloody hasn't.
So what's the punishment he should get?
Sacked from this morning. See ya. He shouldn't be hounded by the press.
So yeah, I agree.
Right.
And that's my number one problem with all cancellation.
Yeah.
Is it's really hard to make the punishment fit the crime. Yeah. Because being publicly shamed, it's such a long-term and complex to measure punishment.
Yeah.
You know, spending a year in jail.
Yeah.
Almost doing like a Boris Becker. Year in jail.
The gentleman's way out.
You know, reputation.
He's out, isn't he?
He's out. Oh, yeah. So he spent a year in jail. His reputation sort of still semi-intact.
Well, he's not presenting BBC Wimbledon anymore.
Okay, I guess so. I don't know.
I'd love to see him
would you rather have Louis C.K.'s cancellation,
or arms for legs,
or okay,
I think,
or have nipples on your elbows?
Right. Yeah. Good question. Sorry. Go.
Would you rather have like a Louis C.K. style cancellation? You know, nothing illegal. Yeah, nothing. So, but you're publicly shamed.
There's some hints of illegality. There's some hints of it.
No charges pressed.
Public, yeah.
I'm saying it's not
public indecency.
I'm saying the point is, there's been no formal.
It's not. Yeah, fine.
He's had no punishment that you can measure as being.
Yeah.
But he lost everything briefly.
Yeah.
And
quite a long time, but
he's still sort of on the outskirts of where he was.
Well, he's doing Madison Square Garden.
Well, he's got his own audience.
Yeah.
Or would you take a year in jail and then after that, all's forgotten?
Well, I definitely do.
Do you know what I mean?
I
probably not the best example, but like it's this long-term cancellation thing, the mental health issue it has to. Like I reckon Sean, with the Strictly thing, he would have taken a year in jail definitely.
Do you think?
I reckon he would have.
How would Sean fare in jail? I don't think very well.
If he had a year, because I think the psychological damage, just one of these, it kind of don't think it ever leaves you.
No, but
just having that storm of basically everyone on Twitter saying they hate you. I think if you can like grunt it out for a year and then all's forgiven. I
think that's minimising jail for me. I'd you know what? I'd prefer my freedom. I think a year in jail is hell.
But people being really nasty about you on Twitter.
But I think that's where we've forgotten how hard jail is. I think we're a bit like, that's the worst. Cancellation is the worst.
It's not like I don't know. It'd be a soft jail, like a Boris Becker jail.
Would it be? I'm not rich enough for it to be a soft jail.
Becker got soft jail, didn't he?
Yeah, but he's Boris Becker. Am I famous enough to get a soft jail?
And then also Boris wrote an article in the Guardian about how hard prison was, right?
Right, for some reason, I thought you were talking about Johnson. Then I was like,
no. Boris Becker wrote, and immediately I was like, you know, it's. I'm more into Boris Becker now because he's been a super rich millionaire and then he's had it all taken away briefly and now he's got it all back again. But he has that experience.
I really don't want to go to jail.
No,
I think I've seen prison docs.
Yeah,
I don't know. Maybe I'll go to a soft one.
I've seen the Prisoners of Azkaban, and personally,
Azkaban looks pretty tough. They've got all the flying ghosts around it as well. They suck your soul and that. But I don't think I'd want. I don't think you should take away.
Imagine getting head by a Death Eater.
That would be rough.
Do you think?
Yeah. No,
just sucking your soul out from your cock.
No, because it's the crime. Like Boris Becker tax evaded. No one really cares about that.
That's what I mean.
Jimmy Carr exists.
No, this is what.
No, but you're talking. No,
my
but
point is.
No, but it's because
no one cares, but you have to do a year in jail, or everyone cares and you get cancelled on Twitter.
I think you're also underestimating the difficulty that a year in jail would have on your.
You're having people shout at you in the street.
You're having people shout at you that they're going to bum you in cells. Give me your dinner, pig boy. Oink for me. Oink oink.
Maybe.
I don't want to be a bitch, and I'm going to be a bitch.
Yeah.
I've got in one fight and I lost heavily.
And you're hairless as well.
I'm prison fodder. I would be raped within 5 minutes. You know that's true.
That's all we've got time for.
Whatever.
Subscribe to the Patreon. We'll see you next week.